What's the venue for dispute? Look for dispute escalation. Look for mediation provisions. Liability provisions are important. Bankruptcy provisions. Is that contract enforceable under bankruptcy law? If so, where is it going to take place? Different states in the U.S. have different bankruptcy laws, and it probably applies the same here in Canada based on provincial law. Contingencies. If certain benchmarks aren't met, are there rewards? Are there penalties? If so, are they enforceable? Are they legal? So really understanding and planning for those issues is really an essential art in these kind of tough economic times. Don't expect everyone to greet you with open arms, okay? Suppliers are probably not going to want to discuss price reductions initially. They probably may be reluctant to share with you their financial conditions. But I'll tell you what, they may be a lot more open now than they were a month ago or 2 months ago. And I think more communication is better. I haven't heard of anyone who's outright refused to discuss pre-existing contracts and renegotiation during this period. I think everyone is open to the discussion, even though it may require several meetings before you reach a consensus. Again, come to the discussion well armed with your research. Drive to a structured, open discussion of cost drivers, of pricing. Emphasize that you're here because you want a lasting relationship. That we believe that you're under pressure to reduce costs. They're under pressure to preserve their business. Let's come to an agreement that is a win-win. Increase contract lengths. People are willing to negotiate for a longer contract length. And there may be other things that you're not even aware of if you open up the table to discussion that could take out cost without necessarily driving their margins lower. And I think the biggest point here at the end is monitor the situation. Communicate as often as need be. Bi-monthly, weekly. Some companies are even speaking daily. They have daily conference calls to monitor the situation. Look at the payment issues. Explore options with other institutions like their bank. There's really a whole set of potential strategies, mitigation strategies you can use here. Everything from shifting orders, extending the contract, increasing inventory levels. Some people are even going in and buying capacity or buying an equity position. Some are buying the supplier outright, waiving discounts or prepaying or any helping with financing, writing a letter for their bank. These are things that can go a long way to preserving their financial health, preserving their relationship, and making sure that they're around. Unfortunately, as I said, most of what we see is that this isn't happening. It's not happening as often or as frequently as I would like to see. And it really means to me that people are not really thinking through and kind of in that frozen mode that we discussed. All of this kind of leads us to a point which I think is really important for us as procurement leaders. In times of economic peril, first thing that people often do is point a finger. Marketing did it, or it's those doggone Wall Street executives that put us into this. The problem is not over there, it's here. Okay? So if we're going to do something, it has to happen here. People have a lot of meetings. I've had 12 hours of meetings, Well, what did you accomplish during those meetings? What actually happened? What decisions were made? And, John Cotter talks about urgency as a set of emotions that drives determination to understand the hazards and opportunities and drive progress, no matter how incremental. Every day, you should go in to say, we're going to make a difference today, even if it's a small decision, even if it takes us a micrometer closer to a solution. We're going to move in that direction. And it really is about seeing what's going on, helping others to see your reality, to see the reality of what's going on, and then saying, what are we going to do about it? Driving to action, listening to suggestions, and moving forward. So it really is about looking around and seeing what's going on. and beginning to move in that direction. We're going to go into some breakout discussions after the break, but I'd like to sort of open it up to comments or questions that you might have. Yeah, Jean.
When we look at what's happening, it's easy to say that, for instance, it's the companies or the management. At the same time, when we do a comparison with what happens to us as individuals, when do we learn when it's going bad? When we do very well, we don't want to change too many things.
Right.
So in theory, it's an opportunity for change. But in practice, when you look at what many economists are saying, you know, like we'll get back to a certain level, it might take like three-month period or something like this. Just going back into what was will not solve the issue. So it's having a change of mindset that's a very, very big change and have it on a permanent basis. And I'm not sure that many executives are willing to do it.
No, I think that's a fair observation. The point was that, will things ever really go back to normal again? And I can tell you for every economist that says that gives a prediction, there's another one that has a different prediction. I don't think there's any two economists right now that concur on anything in this particular time, because they're guessing right now. A lot of them are simply guessing. But I would agree. I think that we will never return to that period of complete bliss, for whatever reason it was, or whatever you want to call it, because in fact it wasn't real. I mean, it was based on inflated home prices and just incredible lending and mortgage subprime levels and on and on. We know what did it. We're not going to go back to that. The regulatory issues are in place today. The banking sector will forever be changed. Many other sectors will be changed forever. So I think what we need to do, as you say, is to consider the new reality and say, how are we going to operate as a business in this new environment, which will be markedly different from anything we've seen before. And I don't think it has sunk in yet. I would concur with you. I don't think people have really thought that through yet. Yes, sir.
Just one question in terms of down the weeds a little bit here, in terms of the recurring process, what people do on a day-to-day basis, from getting pricing by negotiation to advertising to sending out emails for quotes. Do you see any change in that area of the business and how that's done? Is there going to be, in your view, more tendency to negotiate contracts as opposed to
I believe so. I think there was a period of sustained activity using reverse auctions and so forth. I think there's a time and a place for those tools to work, but one company I spoke with, they put every single category of everything they bought on a reverse auction, and in some cases it was with disastrous results. So I think there are, if you look at those, that one quadrant of high value, high complexity, high impact, I think you're going to have to negotiate those types of contracts. I think that you really need to dig in, do your market research, build your cost models, build your pricing terms, build your specifications, build your SLAs. And be very careful, and be careful who you select. Collaboration is a process. It really is. It's a process that you follow. It's not just you go out and hug each other. It really means that you spend a lot of time and effort in that, which means face to face, I believe.